real manhood is basically me with a bunch of beautiful women around me. I'm like, that's not actually something with which I agree. And he goes, like, I think actually, in fact, I think that's kind of a schmucky thing to be. I think it's a bad person. I think it's a bad thing to do. And he'll say, well, so you're arguing with, so you're like, no. No. I agreed with half of what you said and not the other half. And so I don't think that him as a package deal is a good package deal.
Have you ever wanted to just sit down and discuss those ideas with him?
Yeah, I mean, we've had very public exchanges on Twitter in which he has accused me of not being manly enough or that sort of thing. And my view of Tate again is, I think that if he had nothing, then he wouldn't be popular. But I think that I think he's doing more damage than good. I think that he is. I think the things he says about women historically have been quite nasty. I think that his foreign policy is insane, or shall we say wrong in the extreme morally. And I think that, frankly, he's grifting a huge percentage of his audience. I think that his Tate University looks like a pyramid scheme. I'm failing to see where is he building a decision-making matrix for people that makes their lives better in a widespread way. When I say things like people should get married and they should have kids and they should go to their church, this is now considered bizarrely old-fashioned by a lot of people who really like Andrew Tate. And to me, there's no other model. That's the only model. And if you are preaching a model whereby masculinity is hitting things, walking around shirtless, smoking a cigar, buying Lamborghinis that nobody needs or really can afford if you're living a normal life, and having multiple beautiful women who may or may not be hired to be there around you, that is a bad model for young men. That is not what men should be aspiring to. What men should be aspiring to is marrying a good woman, having children with that good woman, building a family with that good woman, being part of a community with that good woman and her children, and building the institutions of society that actually make society flourish and function. And I understand that he is reacting to a thing. I think the thing he's reacting to is bad. I don't think that his reaction to the thing is correct or decent or good.
From my perspective of having a conversation with him, I feel like he's a very, very powerful man that's driven in his thoughts, but he's actually very humble enough to take criticism or a different approach of thinking. So I think that if you guys would put down your swords, you guys could probably get away with like having a great conversation where both of you guys take something away from each other. I think what happens is, like we were talking about, the ego blows, right? You're sitting back and you're like, I'm not going to sit here and watch you tell men that they have to have 100 girls around them. But he's also looking at the West, really feminizing men to a point where he's like, all right, I'm going to push back even more than I should so I can make a point, if that makes any sense.
And I mean, so again, I think that I agree very often with the critique, and I really disagree with the prescription.
I think he's doing it for a shock factor to get more people to hear at least the first message.
Right, and I think that that's unnecessary, meaning that
you don't need to do that, so why does he?
Correct.
Got it.
And neither is Jordan Peterson, and neither is a wide variety of other people who I think are useful for young men. I think that there are a number of young men who are being driven into despair and apathy by the idea that, for example, women are oppositional and ought to be approached in that way, as opposed to, let's find a prescription for how you can, like, how about this? I agree with his critique, by the way, that, for example, if you want to be attracted to women, you have to be more of a man. Okay. But me being more of a man also includes things like religious commitment in the context of a church. And then you have to find a woman to have values with, and you shouldn't be impregnating 10 women at a time, which is something that he has said. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's to me, the least masculine thing, or one of the masculine things you can do, is drop your seat everywhere and then not have relationships with your children in the way that I think a good man has relationships with his children. I think that's a bad model of masculinity. If he's doing that for shock value, he should say he's doing it for shock value, and then he should stop doing it for shock value, because people take him seriously, and he has a huge platform. And again, that doesn't mean that all of the critiques of him are right. In fact, I think a huge number of the critiques of him are wrong. If you go back and you look at my evolution on Tate, you'll see I did a video about him maybe 3 years ago, in which I was much more laudatory of many of the things he was saying about feminism. And then as he became more and more caricature of himself, I became a lot less forgiving of the caricature. Do I think that it is a positive thing for the world that his version of masculinity is hit things hard, walk around, without a shirt, with a cigar in your mouth, being, egoistic about your attraction to various models? Like, I'm sorry, that's not masculine. It's not good masculinity. It does not make good men. It makes bad men. Now, would I rather that there be men than no men? Sure. Would I rather be good men than just men? Absolutely. because all men have the same